Hello friends, and welcome. Tonight, I want to tell you a story about resilience, family, and the courage to chase a dream when the world seems against you. Meet Anna Nguyen. In 2030, she was a talented AI engineer in Silicon Valley, with a bright career ahead. But after clashing with her new boss, she walked away from the company she had once given everything to. At home, she revealed her vision, building an AI platform to help underprivileged children learn coding. It was bold, hopeful, and deeply personal. Yet, instead of encouragement, Anna faced rejection. Her husband David worried about bills. Her mother-in-law dismissed the idea as foolish. Even her sons, influenced by doubt, grew distant. Alone, Anna split her days between helping her parents on their small farm, caring for her family, and coding late into the night. But the pressure grew unbearable. Investors turned her down, her marriage teetered on the edge, and Anna found herself staring into the dark city skyline, wondering if she should give up. And then, an email arrived. A single spark of interest, a chance that could change everything. Would Anna seize it? Could she prove to her family and herself that her dream mattered? This is her journey, through despair, defiance, and triumph. A reminder that even in the hardest moments, courage can light the way. Let's begin. Chapter 1, The Broken Start. The sun was setting over Silicon Valley, its orange light bouncing off the glass towers of tech giants that lined the horizon. Inside one of those towers, Anna Nguyen stood in front of her manager's office door, clutching a resignation letter in her hand. Her heart pounded, but her face remained calm, resolute. She had rehearsed this moment countless times, yet when the door opened, she still felt the sting of finality. "Anna, are you sure about this?" The manager's tone was casual, almost mocking, as if her departure meant nothing. She nodded firmly. "I can't keep working on projects that go against my values. I believe technology should empower, not exploit." The manager smirked, leaning back in his leather chair. "Dreams don't pay bills. Stick around long enough, and maybe you'll learn that." Anna placed the letter on his desk, ignoring the burn in her chest. Without another word, she walked away. Every step down the long hallway felt heavier than the last. This company had been her life for 6 years. She had poured her heart into it, but now it was over. Underscore 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 underscore. When she stepped out of the building, the cool evening air hit her face. San Francisco Bay shimmered in the distance, lights flickering to life across the city. For a fleeting second, she felt free, unshackled. But then the thought of home struck her. She wasn't walking into victory. She was walking into uncertainty. Underscore 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 underscore. At home, the Nguyen family's suburban house buzzed with ordinary life. Her husband, David, sat at the kitchen table surrounded by blueprints and spare circuit boards from his own hardware projects. Their 2 boys, Ethan and Liam, were in the living room arguing over a video game. The smell of microwave pizza lingered in the air. Anna set her bag down and took a deep breath. She needed to tell the truth. "David," she began, her voice steady but quiet. He looked up, noticing the tightness in her expression. "You're home late. Everything okay at work?" "I quit," she said. The words landed like a thunderclap. David froze, his pencil slipping from his fingers. "You what?" "I left the company," she repeated, forcing herself to meet his eyes. "I couldn't keep working under the new director. He dismissed my ideas, and I refused to waste years of my life building something I don't believe in." David rubbed his temples, already exhaling frustration. "Anna, we rely on that paycheck. The mortgage, the kids' school, the bills. Did you think about any of that before walking out?" Her chest tightened. She had expected resistance, but the sharpness of his tone still cut deep. Of course, I thought about it. But I also thought about what it's doing to me, what it's doing to us. I want to build something meaningful, something that matters. David pushed back his chair, pacing. Meaningful doesn't put food on the table. You can't just gamble with our future because you're chasing an idea. I need you to be practical, Anna. This isn't just about you. The boys glanced over from the living room, sensing the tension. Anna noticed Ethan whisper something to Liam, their eyes flickering with confusion. She hated that they were hearing this, but she couldn't back down now. I know it's scary, she said, her voice softer but unwavering. But I have a vision, an AI platform to help kids in underserved communities learn coding for free. It could change lives, David. He stopped pacing, staring at her as if she were speaking another language. That's not a plan, Anna. That's a fantasy. We don't have investors. We don't have savings to burn on this. You need to find another job, fast. Silence hummed between them, heavy and suffocating. The hum of the refrigerator filled the gap. Anna swallowed hard, her throat tight. This was the moment she feared most, not the act of quitting, not the sneer of her manager, but this, the look of disappointment in her husband's eyes. She wanted to scream that she wasn't reckless, that she wasn't selfish. She wanted to remind him how he used to encourage her late-night brainstorming sessions, how he once told her she was destined to lead her own company. But all of that seemed far away now, buried under the weight of unpaid bills and fragile stability. Underscore 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 underscore. Later that night, Anna sat alone on the porch while David stayed inside, too upset to talk. The cool wind rustled the trees, carrying faint echoes of the city beyond the hills. She held her laptop close, opening the prototype she had been building in secret for months. The screen glowed with lines of code, her dream slowly taking shape. Her hands trembled, but her mind was clear. This was the path she had chosen. In the silence, Anna realized she had stepped onto a battlefield. She wasn't just fighting for a startup. She was fighting for her identity, her vision, her very place in this family. And the war had only just begun. The living room glowed softly under the yellow light of a single lamp. After days of hesitation, Anna finally decided to share her vision. She had spent weeks sketching ideas in notebooks, building wireframes on her laptop, dreaming of something that could truly matter. Tonight, she would tell her family. She gathered them after dinner. David leaned back in his chair, scrolling through his phone, while his mother folded laundry on the couch. Ethan and Liam sprawled on the floor, half listening, half absorbed in their game controllers. Anna cleared her throat. I want to start something of my own, she began, her voice calm but steady. A platform powered by AI, an educational tool that will help kids in underprivileged areas learn coding for free. They could access it anywhere, even on low-cost devices. It could give them opportunities they'd never have otherwise. For a brief second, she saw it, the dream alive, shimmering in the air between them. Then David lowered his phone, his brow furrowing. Anna, seriously? After quitting your job, this is what you're thinking about? Yes, she said quickly, leaning forward. I've already started working on the prototype. It's possible, David. I know it is. Her mother-in-law let out a sharp laugh, shaking her head. Possible? In this economy? You have 2 boys to raise, a mortgage to pay. This is no time for childish fantasies. It's not a fantasy, Anna pushed back, heat rising in her chest. Technology should empower kids, not just make rich companies richer. I can build something meaningful, something that changes lives. David's voice hardened. We don't need meaningful. We need stability. Do you think investors are lining up to fund your idea? Do you think bills stop coming just because you want to save the world? The boys exchanged glances. Ethan muttered, just loud enough for her to hear, "Dad's right. It sounds kind of impossible." Liam nodded in quiet agreement. Anna's heart sank. Their words cut deeper than any investor's rejection could. These were her sons, the very reason she wanted to build this dream, and even they saw it as foolish. She tried to explain, her voice trembling but determined. "I'm not asking you to understand everything now. I just need your support. A chance. Please." But the room had already turned against her. David shook his head, his mother muttered about irresponsibility, and the boys returned to their game without another word. Anna sat there in silence, her dream echoing back at her like an empty chamber. The room was filled with her family, yet she had never felt more alone. The mornings came earlier for Anna now. By 5 o'clock, she was already on the road, driving north toward Napa Valley where her parents' small organic farm lay nestled among rolling vineyards. The farm wasn't much, just a few acres of vegetables and fruit trees, but it was her parents' lifeline, and lately they needed more help. "Anna, you don't have to keep coming," her mother would say each time she arrived, brushing soil from her withered hands. But Anna insisted. "You raised me working this land. Let me do my part." She spent hours bent over rows of lettuce and tomatoes, her muscles aching, her palms raw. There was something grounding about the farm, the smell of earth and the rhythm of tending plants. Yet even here, her mind never strayed far from the lines of code waiting on her laptop, from the vision that pulled at her like a tide. By afternoon, she drove back down the highway, re-entering the chaos of suburban life. The house in San Mateo felt colder these days, though the thermostat read 72. David buried himself in hardware designs for his job, barely looking up when she walked in. Ethan and Liam darted from room to room, their laughter and arguments blending into background noise. Dinner's on the stove, David would mutter, eyes still glued to his schematics. Anna forced a smile and served plates, trying to coax conversation out of her sons. "How was school today? Anything exciting?" They shrugged, answering in one-word fragments before rushing off to their screens. She wanted to reach them, but there was an invisible wall, one she hadn't built, yet it stood between them all the same. Underscore 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 underscore. When the house finally grew quiet, Anna's true work began. At midnight, while David slept and the boys dreamed, she sat alone in the glow of her laptop. The prototype stared back at her, a bare-bones AI tutor capable of guiding children through basic coding exercises. It was crude, imperfect, but alive. She tapped at the keyboard, her eyes burning, her body begging for rest. Coffee cups gathered around her desk like silent witnesses. Outside, the neighborhood was still, the world asleep. Inside, Anna's mind was ablaze with logic trees, algorithms, and the stubborn determination that wouldn't let her quit. Yet no one knew how much she gave of herself. No one saw the hours she carved from her own sleep, the quiet sacrifices she made. To David, it was nothing but wasted energy. To her mother-in-law, it was negligence. To her sons, it was simply absence. Underscore 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 underscore. One evening, after a particularly long day at the farm, Anna sat at the dinner table rubbing the blisters on her hands. David looked at them, then shook his head. "You're exhausting yourself for nothing," he said, voice heavy with disapproval. "The farm doesn't pay, and this project of yours? It's not going anywhere. Why can't you just focus on finding a real job?" Anna's throat tightened. She wanted to tell him how much it hurt to hear that, how lonely it felt to have her own family dismiss her efforts. But the word stuck in her chest. Instead, she excused herself, retreating to the porch. From there she could see the faint glow of the city skyline, Silicon Valley's empire of lights mocking her. She was surrounded by innovation, by billion-dollar dreams taking shape just miles away, yet inside her own home, her dream was invisible. Underscore 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 underscore. On weekends, the loneliness deepened. The family went about their routines, soccer games, errands, phone calls, while Anna hovered on the margins. She tried to join in, but conversations drifted without her, as if she were an outsider in her own household. At night, when she finally returned to her code, doubts crept in like shadows. What if David is right? What if I'm pouring myself into a fantasy? She imagined her children growing up remembering only the absence of their mother, not the vision she had tried to give them. Tears blurred the lines of code on the screen, but she kept typing, fingers trembling. Somewhere deep down, a voice whispered, "This matters. Even if they can't see it yet, this matters." Underscore 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 underscore. Weeks blurred into months. Anna's routine became a relentless cycle: farm at dawn, housework at dusk, coding at midnight. Her body wore down, but her spirit refused to break. And yet, the silence around her was deafening. Every night, when she closed her laptop, she would glance at the darkened hallway where her family slept. She longed for one word of encouragement, one sign that someone believed in her. But the house remained quiet, and Anna realized that the loneliest place in the world wasn't an empty room. It was a home where no one believed in you,